Hey, what's good, everybody? This is another episode of Facts and Feelings, and this is your boy Twice.
It's your girl Tay.
And listen, we want y'all to real quickly share this out, man. Like it, like the page if it's your first time here. But if you're watching it, go on and share it out, and we'll be right back with you in a moment.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts that you feeling. I love the fact you chillin'. These hours fly by when you and I is chillin'. These hours fly by. Feel like a couple minutes. Seen you on my timeline. Hold up, wait a minute, twice and take. Yeah, you know they always catching up. Keep us up to date, cause it's hard to keep up through the day.
And we're back. Tay, what's good?
You got it. What's happening over there?
If I got it, tell me where I put it. I can't find it. Well, what's up to all the guests? We thank y'all for tuning in today. Remember, if y'all have anything y'all want to say, just type it in the chat and we'll see if we can address it or things of that nature. Man, this topic just came to me at the last minute. It's really they killing us and we killing us. You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of wanted to discuss two topics that happened more recently in world news. One of those, I think at this point, everybody or mostly everybody heard about Sandra Massey. And what we like to do is we like to give,
Tanya.
Right. And what we like to do is give a fact and a feeling. And so the fact is just kind of like in the title, like they're killing us and we're killing us. So the fact is we know that some people have died and we just kind of want to chop it up and talk about that. Is there a way that this can stop? What needs to happen and things of that nature? Tay, before we dive into this, you want to say anything?
No, I just think it's, just definitely relevant topics. And I think it's something that, worth holding a conversation about, especially, given that we just came off of Mental Health Awareness Month in May, and just so many other things that kind of ties into mental health and um, racism and just other things going on in the country. So I think it's definitely relevant, and I think the conversation is worth being held and talked about. So yeah,
Right.
I'm excited to dive into it.
Right, me as well. Look, I don't know where I get Sandra from, but we're gonna jump into it. Like, man, just looking at, for a while I had heard the name for a while. I knew there was something going on, but I never really tapped into it because it was like, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? Another hashtag. When we gonna stop having these hashtags? So it was a couple of days when I jumped into it, but when I did jump into it, I was actually on TikTok and I was able to see some live footage, man. And it was extremely disturbing to me the way that everything just kind of unveiled. And even looking back now as more stuff is coming out, but it's kind of tough for me to swallow calling the police because you think something is going on and you have an intruder and that ends in you losing your life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most definitely, and just looking at some of the information that we've come to learn about. We know that she had a history of paranoid schizophrenia, and so given her health, um, that's why it's vitally important when you're working with the community to be um, not just trained of how to deal with people with mental illnesses, but also making sure that you're implementing that training when you come into contact with them,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's one of those things that I want to, and I know I don't want to get ahead of the eight ball, as they say, but
Yeah.
one of the things that got me is I didn't hear this at first, but when I went in more recently, heard some more footage. And yes, it was. We see the Carmen is on, and Carmen saying that was hard to watch. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
extremely hard to watch. But as I went back and I just kind of dived into it, like I said, it took me a couple of days, but I went back more recently. And there's actually body camera footage of him asking before he even goes in, do we have any history of her being 1096? So like he was asking, and of course you want to know these type of things just for your own safety, but as things unfold, it's like I started wondering, why did he want to know that? Was he looking for a reason? Because as it unfolded, they were actually talking outside, and they asked her, do you need anything else? And she said no.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, they started asking her for ID, which led to them even going in the house. Then you get in the house and it's like, well, what took you so long to answer the door? Honestly, what difference do it make? Like, I called you, but she gave them a solid answer. I was getting dressed. This is a woman answering her door at nighttime. Maybe she was relaxing, maybe she was lounging. So she was answering her doors. It's just like, it's almost like they was picking. Well, I'll say Sean was picking with his questions. And then you tell her to get some hot water off the stove. And then when she get it, and here's what I wanted to say to kind of piggyback off what you said, it's that training. With me being a social worker for years and you doing social work for years, even with me working on in my last position, I had to have certain cultural training. Maybe he didn't understand what I rebuke you in the name of Jesus meant. Not giving him no excuse, but when she did say it, his first thing was, "No, you won't." And then he said, "I'll shoot you in your face." Come on, man. Come on, Mr. Officer. That's your first response to somebody is, "I'll shoot you in your face," who
Yeah.
you're there to protect.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is from all of this is that the police was not called out for her.
Mhm.
She called the police out herself because she thought there was an intruder outside. And so I'm calling you to help protect me and keep me safe. And, consequently, to her, thoughts and beliefs of them keeping her safe, it backfired. And the people that she thought would protect her were the very ones that took her life. And so
Right, exactly.
that's what's so I think that's what has so many people outraged, along with the fact that he threatened to, shoot her in the face, and the fact that she was asked to take the water off the stove. She
Right. I'm complying.
do it, voluntarily, but at the same time, she's in her house. She could leave the water boiling if she wanted to, even if it burned the house down. That's that's
Mhm.
that's her. That's her
Right,
space, her place,
right,
and that's her pot of water boiling. And
right,
so when you're asking her to pick it up and then she puts it down, even if you were threatened, she's no longer a threat. The pot is down.
right,
This is a woman, and even let's just say, even if it looked like she was about to toss the water, a shot to the face, that's
right,
that's a bit much. So it's just one of those things where it's just unjustifiable. It just
right,
is no sugarcoating it, no need of playing with it. It was unjustifiable, and I've
right,
seen a lot of police officers come out and they've talked about it. And as hard as it may have been to not back the blue in this situation, I mean, they agreed it was unjustifiable, and that action that he took ended that lady's life.
right. And I'll even go so far to this. Not only was it the comment that he made, but it was a premeditated thought. Like he didn't just shoot her in the face, but he
Mhm.
told her where he was gonna shoot her. You know what I'm saying? And she did repeat it. So I'm like, did he not know what rebuke mean? Like, I don't really know what's going on with that. See if you can kind of read some of those comments.
Yeah, so
Tay.
I see, Demaria said that she saw on TikTok that he was fired from a previous job because he was in a high
Several.
chase. Yeah,
Right.
they told him to terminate, and he kept going over 100 miles and hit a deer. But his father-in-law hired him, knowing his record, and now he has taken her life. And so this
Wow.
situation where that could have been prevented. But it goes back to when you're doing favors for family members, and you're not following protocol. I don't care if it is a family member, friend, or whoever, you still need to follow protocol. And if
Right.
that man has already been fired from multiple jobs because of his actions and everything, then he doesn't need to be in a situation where he's there to protect and serve the people,
Right.
because it looks like he wasn't for the people. He had
Right.
a motive when he went in. He already appeared to be agitated, and that just wasn't a situation that he should have been in. He should have removed himself. Really shouldn't have been on that job, to be honest,
Right.
to begin with. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I definitely agree with all that. And even further than that, the two more things that get me is when one of his co-workers or one of the other offers spoke about going to get like the kit or whatever, the emergency kit to help her. He told him don't, like, nah, man, she dead, or however he worded it.
Yeah.
And like at least go, like you say, I think he said something about the procedures, but like, how do you not do what's necessary,
Mhm.
follow protocol? Yeah, she may be gone, but why won't you try to help her if you can? Like, she didn't deserve to die. She didn't deserve to be shot. She definitely didn't deserve to die. So how do you like wave off getting emergency kit to try to help her out? And do you want to speak to that before I say the next thing?
And that's the thing. How do you not show some type of remorse or
Right,
try to at least attempt to look like you're trying to do something to provide some aid to this woman? Because at the end of the day, she did have a faint pulse.
right,
The lack of taking any type of action to get some help and deterring somebody else from helping just kind of speaks to his character, at least in that moment.
right. I said right, and we'll even go a step further. This ain't beat up on Sean Grayson, but this is the facts. Body cam says that after he shot her, he goes outside. They pretty much checking on him. You know what I'm saying? His brothers in blue. Are you good? And his words was, "Yeah, I'm good. This F&B is crazy.
Yeah,
Really?
respectful.
You just took somebody's life, shot somebody in the face over a pot of boiling water that she only had because you told her to pick it up. And that's your thing. I mean, I still don't know what she did for him to say she was crazy.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think he was able to recognize that she may have had a mental illness, and in that moment, that's when he should have changed the way that he was interacting with her. And
Right,
so, if you fear individuals with mental illnesses, number one, he definitely shouldn't be a public servant because they
right,
come with the territory. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's character is different. Everybody has different medical conditions that can sometimes put them in a temporary state of a mental illness or having a mental break. And so I think that lady could see it in his eyes, that there
right,
was something that wasn't right about him when she said that she rebuked him, she rebuked him. And so it's one of those things where even if it was a part of her mental illness as to why she said that, if she was, having a paranoid moment, at that time, like it still did not justify him shooting, this lady.
right,
And so,
right,
as Carmen stated, it appeared that this man was irritated from the start. Why are you asking for ID? Check the perimeter of the home, explain your findings or lack thereof, and leave. That was the purpose of being there.
right.
So yeah.
And it just kind of leads me to think, this is just another, we won't even say person, but another female. We said say your name. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but we also had Breonna Taylor, and maybe that's where I got Sandra from early, because it was, I believe, Sandra Bland, if I'm correct with that, with my memory. But this is like not the first time this has happened. It's like, when do it stop? And I'll go on the record to say, you can't promise that it stopped, but you can do what you can. I didn't even know that till Demaria made that comment and you stated it. I didn't know that this was a father-in-law hire. You know what I'm saying? This was a father-in-law hire when you knew that clearly your son-in-law had some issues, and you hire him, and this is where it lands us. I'm gonna kind of shift to the next topic unless it's another question come up on this, or if you want to say something.
Oh, you can go ahead.
All right, now this next topic, it kind of blew me away. Our friend George sent me this the other day, classmatic over in Texas. So we're just going to flip to Stephen Harris. Stephen Harris is a 20-year-old, well, was a 20-year-old member of Southern University Human Jukebox Marching Band. And he was reported missing for about a week. And then after being missing for a week, he was found deceased. The thing about this is they've made 3 arrests in regards to Stephen Harris murder. And the storyline just kind of reads: college student didn't show up for a custody hearing for his son. Now the child's mom is accused of conspiring to kill him. They've arrested his 21-year-old child's mother and 2 other young men that I think were both 20. No, one was 21, Derek Terrell Hollins, and it was a female, Kalasia Jack, 20, and they're all of Mississippi, in Mississippi. So it's like, and that's why the topic just kind of dropped on me. They killing us, we killing us. It's like, what do you gain, or what does an individual gain, or either like in that moment, what does she think she gained if this is true, and she conspired to kill her child's father because he didn't show up for a court case. Okay, so what, he don't show up for the court case, and now what's the result of that? He's not going to pay child support. But now he's definitely not going to pay child support because he's unalived, as the new term is. He's unalived. His life was taken. And like, I don't know what she thought she would gain from that if this is true and it pans out the way that it's being reported. What you want to say about that?
So it's just so much about this situation. It's 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 very heartbreaking because they're all young. You know what I'm saying? And I know our kids are all young. They're young adults, and so sometimes, when people don't interact or engage with wise counsel, they can begin talking to the wrong people, and they put all these crazy thoughts in their head about, what would be a good idea and how to get rid of him so that, she don't have to worry about um, custody and losing the kid and things of that nature. And this is just me coming off the noggin. This is not anything
Scripted.
that's written. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Right.
it's still in under investigation. So they haven't been convicted. They're just they're suspects. And so, but my thing is, certain situations that may seem bad aren't as bad as they look.
Exactly.
If this is this child's father and you're the mother, I mean, y'all just get together and do what you got to do, whatever's in the best interest of the kid. Take yourself out of it, stop making everything about you, and then everybody live to see another day. If you have a
Right.
disagreement, you just got a disagreement, but it doesn't have to be final. It doesn't have to be where we're ending each other's lives and everybody looking around waiting on this young man to show up in court when there's certain people that knows he's not going to be showing up. So I think it's really, really sad. And my thing is, I commend him being a young college student, taking responsibility, to be a father and be there for his child. So it's just so unfortunate that his life was taken. Of course, we don't know all the background to it all and what all they may have been going through or whatever. But at the end of the day, I never feel like a situation like this should lead to death.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And like you said, we don't know all the details, so we actually just giving how we feel about it. The fact is what happened, and our commentary is how we feel about it. Because you got to know that he was come from a good background. This was a college student. He was in band, and I also seen that there's a GoFundMe for his funeral and to help raise the money because his family is seeking custody. I really don't see a family who wasn't involved trying to seek custody. So it leads me to believe, again, this is my thoughts, that they were involved. And it's just sad because it like you have a young mom that's 21 who potentially was upset because this young man wasn't paying child support or caring for the child, which is speculation based off the story itself of why he may have been murdered. And so now it's like he's lost the child. I'm concerned about the child at this point. Like he's lost a parent that was murdered. And if she's guilty, like now you can't even take care of him. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be incarcerated and in the system. And like Carmen said, it's just it is. It's a very awful situation.
Yeah.
So when I heard it, I was just like, yeah, we got to work this in the podcast because I hadn't heard anything about it had I not gotten the story in a text message.
Right. So we know the young man was residing in Louisiana, but and they believe that everything started,
In
this
Louisiana.
started in Louisiana, but they found him, his body in Mississippi. And so, not only has this child lost its father, but now, the mother may be going to prison for, the father's death. So it's just a sad situation all the way around. And unfortunately, it's only going to get more ugly because now his family's in court trying to get custody of this child. And, there's going to be issues, I'm sure, with her side of the family also wanting the child and, having to go through the criminal case and all of that. So it's just an ugly situation. And I just, admonish people when you're having these difficulties with like custody battles and stuff like that, sit down and have a conversation and leave everybody else out of it. Unless you have that neutral person that's gonna, keep things real between the two of you. Um, what do you call it when you have that like mediator,
Oh yeah, mediator, right?
yeah,
I was
like
thinking not advocate, but yeah, maybe mediator.
yeah, just having somebody there that can kind of help work through those things because it shouldn't have gotten to this point. He's in college trying to get an education to possibly be able to better support himself and his child, and she may have been, in school and trying to do things to better herself as well. But at this point, you know, we don't know what her future looks like. But what
Right.
we know is that, there is a fatherless child out there now.
Right, and it's extremely unfortunate that ended like this. Like we don't know how it's going to end overall. If she will be found guilty or not guilty, like those things are pending. We don't know, but I mean, it just looks like you're exactly right, Carmen. At this point, nobody wins, and definitely we do know that the Lord will provide for this child, but this child has potentially lost. No, he has lost, but how great will the loss be? Because it's undetermined if mom goes to jail or not. But yeah, nobody wins in this situation, especially for looking at the point of if this was done because he didn't come to court to pay child support. Like, who's going to support the child? The support the child did have may not be a support system anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, I hope, my prayers that the mom didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, I pray not.
Yeah, looking at some of the information being put out from the investigation, is pointing into a different direction. But, again, we don't know all the ins and outs. I just know that this situation as a whole is very unfortunate. And I think in these situations, things can be different if, people just really take a time out to breathe because we all get to a point where we become very angry and upset when we're dealing with certain things where it looks like we're battling, between differences of opinions and different things of that nature, and people just making us mad.
Right.
It doesn't have to end in the loss of somebody's life.
Exactly. Because you never want to feel like, and I think this is like common, you never want to feel like somebody is getting away with something who done you wrong or doing you wrong. But
Right.
there's a way to resolve everything. There's a way to work through everything. And like the taking of a life, just kind of bringing everything back together. This is the loss of Stephen Harris's life. This is the loss of Sandra Massey's life.
It's fine
Uh,
coming
huh?
back. It's final. There's no coming back
There's
from
no
it.
coming back. And watch this. In both of these cases, although they were separate, completely in nature, you have two people that felt like they were being, I guess you could say, done wrong.
Yeah.
Sonya Massey thought somebody was trying to, and she thought, whether it was or not, her
Mhm.
thought was somebody trying to come in on me, let me call help. And she ended up shot in the face on purpose. And then with this young lady, she felt like she was being wrong, like somebody wasn't holding up her end of the bargain. But it's the reverse. She wasn't harmed, but she potentially may have harmed somebody else and took their life. So, and it's just, we've been talking about a lot of things amongst each other lately. I even talked about some things on our last podcast. Uh, we're really living in dark times.
Yeah.
We're really living in some dark times, like we've been living in them. But like it's getting, I feel like you could say it's getting worse. But I think one of the things is we have social media in play now, so you have more knowledge of what's going on. this situation that happened in Louisiana, partially Mississippi, the body found in Mississippi. It's just certain things that go in the world that we would never know if it was not for technology. So, you feel like it's getting worse, but then you can also kind of ask yourself the question, is it getting worse, or is we just know more than we would have known 20 years ago?
Yeah. And we got to be careful too with the agenda, that is being put out before us. Because if we really kind of think about these things, like it was around this time, last year when we were seeing the things, well, not last year, but during like leading up to the election time during COVID and everything with like
Mhm.
the George Floyd killings and then now this, with Sonya Massey and being shot multiple times by the police, and we're leading up to an election, and it was COVID going on. Now they're talking about a new strand of COVID. It's
Right.
like we're being fed so much stuff, and things are going on in society, and it's causing an uproar, with just the people as a whole. We have to really, really be careful and watch these agendas that are out here to kind of bring about separation and division. Because look at
Right.
the thermometer across the country right now. We're back in a situation where, we're looking at racism like never before. We're looking
Mhm.
at sexism when it looks, we're looking at a presidential candidate that's a female, and we're looking at just so many different obstacles that's coming at the people, and it's causing people to become divided, even more, just when it looked like people were starting to kind of make amends. Of course
Right.
it wasn't there, but things were settling down a little bit more. But now that we got this presidential race going on again, we now have, of course, killings as a whole, but not only that, police killings.
Right.
It's just one of those things where we have to be careful, even what we put our give our attention to. When we're on
Right.
social media and we're seeing people make these posts, people are plucking at you and pricking at you, and they're wanting you to come up under their post and say things, or they're wanting to come up under yours and get you all agitated and ruffled up and everything. And then it leads to more killings and different things.
Mhm.
And even more recently, my baby girl, Naya, was sharing with me about a young lady, Caucasian, little girl that was being bullied in school right here in Mississippi. And the young ladies that was bullying her, one of them's parents were connected in the school district, and they didn't do anything to protect the little girl, and the little girl committed suicide. Her mom had to walk in
Wow.
and see her child hanging, in her room,
Wow.
to move out of her house because of that. So we have bullying going on, and even after this child committed suicide, the kids were still mocking the little girl even after death. So social media will get you so reared up, and your emotions so flared up that it will cause more friction and divide than what we really should have,
Most
right?
definitely.
So we have to
Most
be.
definitely. And I was about to say, just adding on to what you said, people say triggering things. Like they want, you got people, and most of the people that say the triggering things, a
Mhm.
great percentage of them won't even have a real name or a profile picture. They're literally trolls, especially with like Twitter and IG. They're literally trolls. They come in there to stir stuff up and to get you worked up. And then even a lot of the media posts, the headings of posts that they make, the caption, it's triggering. You know what I'm saying? It's divisive. They want you to come in and argue. And it's insane because they do it because the more people that comment on this, the more people that like this on the back end, I'm getting some monetized funds. So I'm gonna stir up the pot, have y'all arguing and cussing each other out,
Yeah.
potentially looking for each other address. Something could happen to y'all, and I might get a $17 check. It's insane.
Right, and then and guess what that does? It gives a new story to be put in the media to talk about.
Right, right,
They use us as puppets to create the friction so that they have a story to talk about next. And so we have
right.
to be very careful with how we allow it to control us. like Carmen said, she's had her fair share of being put in Facebook jail. So she's learning to keep scrolling, and I get it, and that's what My thing is, I'm not gonna allow other people to kind of take me there, because
Hey,
people
look,
their opinions and stuff
right.
regardless.
I don't even want to cut you off. I'm sorry, Table. Just looking at that comment, it was almost like she talking about Facebook jail, and I just kind of thought to myself, she's smiling on her mugshot.
Yeah, that's what she said. And gave her whole inmate number. So jail so much. But you think about it, some of the things that people get put in Facebook jail for, you see other people that post even worse things, that is racism, and is
Inappropriate.
yeah, negative condensations and connotations and inappropriate, but they don't get put in Facebook jail.
Right.
People take other people's profile pictures. You got to go through your story, the different Facebook stories, seeing your friends' pages with inappropriate pictures and stuff. Like, how does
Right.
stuff not get taken down? So
Right.
they have an agenda, and we just have to be careful not to feed into it.
Right. It's for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
So
we know
I
a little bit from ourselves, but y'all
hey,
get
baby, it's facts and feelings. Talking about how we feel might lead to other things about how we feel, and a lot of stuff is like we're grateful for the viewer engagement. So
yeah,
sometimes you address what's being said. What she
yeah.
said, my profile pic, and I will do it again.
This is again.
Look, I'm gonna have to wear my glasses next week. So yeah, y'all, we just kind of want to bring these two things to you all because we're in a dark place. A lot of times we get mad about what people doing to us, but there's a lot of examples we could have used of how we hurt ourselves as people and as individuals as well. And this is a very unfortunate situation, an awful situation to know that a 20-year-old college student has lost his life, and it looks like because he didn't show up for child support court. Awful.
Yeah. Well,
You got anything else for the people?
we just appreciate all of y'all joining. We see family, joining in and everything. We appreciate the interactions and everything. And again, like we always say, if y'all have certain topics or stories and that y'all want us to bring to the facts and feeling stage, let us know so we can come in and discuss it and chat up about it.
Right. Y'all do that now. If it's something y'all want to know, let us know. And if whatever the topic is, we might even see if we can find some type of guest for
Yeah.
that topic. Mental Health this month was full of guests in the mental health realm. We've had our sister Tanisha on for real estate, human trafficking. I think Father's Day we had Demario on. So just different guests for different topics. So we can find somebody to jump on here because we don't know everything. We just talking about how we feel, but we can pull somebody in who might know more about whatever the topic is and go from there. But thank y'all for tuning in once again. It's been another episode of Facts and Feeling. This your boy Twice.
It's your girl Tay.
And y'all hold it down. We out.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you feel.